If you've watched some of the previous Minecraft Hoplite videos on this channel, you'll see that we've been doing a tutorial series to help you learn the basics of Hoplite, such as the UI, navigating the lobby, and also figuring out what exactly to do when you join your very first game of Hoplite on your own. But up until then, we've neglected to talk about the unique items, weapons, and different kinds of equipment that Hoplite has to offer that makes it a unique game mode. And so we'll do that now, in this final tutorial covering the Minecraft Hoplite Battle Royale series. In this tutorial, we'll go over the many different items that Hoplite offers that are either unique to this game mode, or which change different kinds of properties that you wouldn't find in other ones. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the final tutorial for Minecraft Hoplite. When you first join Hoplite, whether it's in the lobby or in a game, you can see a red book in your hotbar that you can open up to see both the basic and legendary items that Minecraft Hoplite has to offer, and we'll go over each one of these now. The first one is a light apple, which is a golden apple crafted using an efficient process. In order to craft a light apple, you'll need 1 regular apple and 4 gold ingots. Consuming one of these light apples will do exactly as it does in vanilla, and provide you some extra health and regeneration. A bundle is a sack for holding different items, which you can right-click to open and store your items, requiring 1 chest and 4 pieces of leather. A light anvil is unique to Hoplite, which is a light anvil that requires less resources to craft, but still functions as an actual anvil. It requires 1 full block of iron and 6 iron ingots, and it will allow you to enchant like usual. Next is a saddle for animals. Here you'll need 2 copper ingots, 5 pieces of leather, and 1 string, and it does exactly as it says, allow you to ride animals. Obsidian doesn't get affected as the way it does in vanilla, but in order to craft it, you can now use a water bucket and lava bucket to quickly create them. Bottles of enchanting give you experience just as they do in vanilla, but here in Hoplite you can craft them, using 1 glass bottle and 4 full blocks of lapis lazuli. And in order to create a glass bottle, you just use glass blocks like normal. And likewise for a block of lapis, it's just 9 lapis put together. Bundled arrows are just a way to craft more arrows in a more efficient manner. All it does is triple the recipe, requiring 3 flints, 3 sticks, and 3 feathers, to get a total of 20 arrows. And next, we have unique items. The smelter's pickaxe is a pickaxe that, when you mine different ores in Hoplite, instantly smelts them. It requires 3 pieces of raw iron, 2 pieces of coal, and 2 sticks. So while the cost may be high up front, it is helpful. The lumberjack axe also allows you to cut trees instantly as soon as you break the lower wooden block on it. This is crafted using 3 iron ingots, 2 sticks, and 1 piece of flint, which you can also use as a weapon. The short sword is a cheap sword that helps you get better in combat, requiring 1 iron sword and 8 copper ingots. The short sword gives you a slight combat improvement over the iron sword, of 1 extra attack damage. Similarly, the short bow is another way of using a bow and copper ingots to get a slightly more powerful bow, giving the power 1 enchantment. The lucky rod is a fishing rod, requiring 2 raw cod, 2 raw salmon, and 4 pieces of seagrass, which you can get with shears. The lucky rod not only allows you to get luckier items from the fishing mechanics, but also makes it so fishing is incredibly quick and much more efficient than it would be normally. It is helpful to note that the fishing rod has the same loot tables as usual. The trident is a versatile weapon that functions exactly as it does in vanilla, requiring 2 diamonds and 3 pieces of nether quartz to craft. Similarly, the totem of undying works just like it does in vanilla, allowing you to escape death if you have it, requiring 4 gold ingots and a diamond, and a gas tier centered right in the middle of the recipe. Next is a unique item to Hoplite, the golden head. The golden head, when consumed, allows you to instantly generate regeneration 3, absorption 1 for 2 minutes, giving you extra hearts, and speed 1 for a duration that depends on the perks that we covered in an earlier tutorial. To craft a golden head requires 1 player head, which you get by defeating a player in combat, surrounded by 8 gold ingots. An Ares blessing is a supply drop that gives you a randomized reward in the middle of combat. Like the golden head, this one also requires a player head in order to craft, surrounded by 8 pieces of redstone dust. The tracker pack allows you to spawn a pack of wolves that will help you in combat, tracking the first last known location of a nearby player that the wolves detect once they spawn in, and once they successfully reach their target, they'll act like normal wolves. To craft this, you'll need a compass and some 4 bones in a diamond formation, and a compass recipe is just like it is in vanilla, 1 piece of redstone and 4 iron. The nether reactor core turns the surrounding environment around it into a small pocket of the nether, including blocks, trees, and different items and mobs that only spawn specifically in the nether. Crafting this is a hefty recipe, requiring 1 piece of gunpowder in the center, 2 pieces of obsidian, and 6 pieces of blue stained glass, specifically blue, which you can craft with a blue dye in the middle and 8 glass surrounding it. And of course, blue dye can be gained either through lapis lazuli or cornflower, like it would be in vanilla. The revival star allows you to revive a teammate, which of course is only applicable if you're playing the Hoplite game mode that lets you play in teams. Reviving a teammate through the revival star is quite the hefty crafting recipe. It requires a player head like some of the previous recipes, 2 diamonds, a golden apple, and a clock. It should be noted that the golden apple here is not the light apple that you can craft in the earlier recipe, and it must be a true golden apple. But creating a revival star does give you the ability to revive a teammate. And so with the basic items covered, now it's time to move on to the next category of unique items that Hoplite has to offer: legendary weapons. Each of these weapons grants you an edge in combat with a hefty recipe in order to craft it. So during battle, you have to make that cost-benefit analysis of whether you have the resources to craft a legendary item or weapon, and if you're willing to give up those items in order to craft it to begin with. Legendary weapons are also not rate limited, meaning you can have as many legendary weapons as you want, but given how costly they are to actually craft, it's unlikely you'll have more than 1, 2, or at most 3 in any given combat scenario. But regardless, legendary weapons are powerful, and sometimes, particularly in the deathmatch phase, can mean a make or break kind of decision to whether you win or not. The first one is a Midas sword. The Midas sword has a 50% chance to increase the sharpness level of the sword every time you kill a player. And not to mention that killing a player with this exact weapon, the Midas sword, will drop gold nuggets as an extra drop. To craft a Midas sword, you need 1 diamond sword, 2 pieces of nether quartz on either side, a golden apple, not a light apple, and an enchanted golden apple at the top. As you can see already, the legendary weapons have pretty hefty recipes, and this is not something you can create rather casually. The next complement of the legendary weapons is the Artemis bow. Shooting arrows with the Artemis bow have a chance to seek out their targets, which means they will instantly go to their target almost like an aimbot, but will deal less damage as a result. Firing normal arrows with it have the chance of striking lightning at that location. To craft the Artemis bow, you need, logically, a bow, 4 feathers, 2 pieces of diamond on either side, a piece of TNT at the bottom, and a spyglass at the top, which, for anyone who is unfamiliar with, requires 1 amethyst shard and 2 copper ingots. This might be the first instance of a spyglass being put to good use in Minecraft. The next legendary weapon is called Mjolnir. The Mjolnir legendary weapon allows you to throw it to deal lightning damage, or use it in melee to do the same, on an 8-second cooldown. Mjolnir is perhaps the one legendary weapon with a less costly recipe, requiring 1 diamond axe, 1 magma cream, and 1 lodestone. In order to craft a lodestone, you need to have a netherite ingot in the middle, surrounded by 8 pieces of chiseled stone brick. Chiseled stone brick requires 2 stone brick slabs. Stone brick slabs require 3 stone bricks, and stone bricks require you to create 4 stone in order to make them. So while it's a rather deep recipe in order to create, it's one of the less costly ones relative to all the others. The Reaper's Scythe is an interesting legendary weapon. Using a melee attack will drain 10% of the health of the player you attack with, and heals you for that same damage that you deal. In addition, all potion effects that the damaged player had will be removed from them and are instead transferred to you in the attack. This really emphasizes the point of attacking players and draining them. To create this, you need 2 pieces of crying obsidian, 1 amethyst shard, and 2 player heads, which is costly given in the previous section we've seen all the different variations of recipes you can use player heads for. Whoops, okay, I almost went AFK. In the next ranged legendary weapon, we have the Sonic Crossbow, originating in the Deep Dark. Shooting the Sonic Crossbow will launch a sonic arrow, creating an explosion on the impact that will knock all players away. To create the Sonic Crossbow, you'll need to be quite brave, as you need to have a crossbow in the middle, 2 diamonds on either side, 1 Echo Shard, only able to get that from the Wardens, and disc fragments of specifically disc 5. In addition to 1 firework star. At that point, crafting the sonic bow means a true test of might. But if you can't craft that, another possible legendary bow is the ender bow, having 2 different firing modes that you can change between. Teleport mode, when selected, will shoot an ender pearl, allowing you to teleport wherever the arrow is fired. Whereas in arrow mode, you shoot regular arrows like a regular bow, however arrows have a chance of spawning an endermite at the location they land at, meaning they could potentially land on the player should you successfully get hit off. The ender bow requires the crafting of a normal bow, 2 diamonds, 1 clock, and 1 eye of ender at the top, which is ultimately a less hefty recipe compared to the previous sonic crossbow, which requires much more of the player. And unlike the sonic crossbow, the ender bow does have the 2 modes of firing you can change between. The next melee legendary weapon is the dragon katana, a legendary weapon that harnesses the swiftness of a dragon. Killing a player with the dragon katana will give the player 1 teleportation charge at a maximum of 3 charges. Using the dragon katana, you can right click to teleport in the direction you're looking at, which will consume 1 of those teleport charges. To craft a dragon katana, you'll need 1 diamond sword, 1 firework star, 2 netherite scrap, and 1 block of obsidian. While it may be another hefty recipe, the ability to teleport in combat up to a maximum of 3 times, depending on how many kills you have, is powerful. The next weapon is the pufferfish cannon. Firing the pufferfish launches a pufferfish at the enemy, which will not only deal your standard impact damage against the players you fire at, but it will also inflict them with poison, as you're firing an actual pufferfish. True to its name, the crafting of a pufferfish cannon requires 2 pufferfish themselves, 2 diamonds, 4 iron, and 1 TNT, which I guess is really vital in order to really get that impact damage across. Wonder where that guy's going. The next item is the Lich Staff, a legendary weapon empowered with frost magic. Right-clicking with the Lich Staff allows you to launch a frost charge, in which all entities, both players and mobs, such as wolves, in range of the blast, will be damaged by the explosion and are also frozen. In addition, the Lich Staff has the passive effect of allowing you to freeze water you walk over. The crafting of the staff requires 2 pieces of obsidian, 2 pieces of packed ice, 2 diamonds, and any color candle that you manage to find during your playthrough. The next item is the Emerald Blade. The Emerald Blade, when you shift and right click, will allow you to deposit all emeralds in your inventory into the sword. Depositing these emeralds will allow you to upgrade the sharpness level of your sword, almost similar to the Midas sword we first covered. Killing players with the sword has a chance of giving you emeralds also. To craft this, you'll need 1 diamond sword, 1 golden carrot, which is a carrot surrounded by gold nuggets, 2 solid blocks of emeralds, and 1 bell, which you can only find in villages. The magma club is a blunt weapon that inflicts fire damage on enemies you attack them with. Specifically, when you use a fully charged attack against an enemy with this club, it has a chance to light them on fire. And while you yourself have the club, you can hold it down to gain fire resistance, which is helpful if you're fighting in the nether. The magma club requires you to craft it with 1 iron sword, not diamond, 2 pieces of blaze powder, 4 magma blocks in the corner, 1 diamond at the top of the sword, and 1 piece of gunpowder. The war pick is an even more upgraded version of the pickaxe that we covered previously. Mining a block with the war pick will trigger a large explosion that destroys all blocks in a 3x3x3 radius, around and above the player. Critically hitting a player with the war axe has a chance to actually knock them back slightly, and reduce the durability of an armor piece that the game will select at random. While perhaps not the strongest weapon compared to the others, crafting it is not that big of a recipe. You'll need 1 diamond pickaxe, 1 diamond sword, 6 blocks of redstone on either side, which should be easy given how common you can find it, and 1 block of TNT. New to Season 2 of Hoplite is the Fountain of Fate, which has a sick sense of humor. Placing down the Fountain of Fate has a chance of either spewing Regeneration 2, Absorption 5, or Wither 2, and Instant Damage 3. Not to mention, once the fountain is placed, these effects will remain active for 5 minutes, so depending on what you get, this could be good or terrible. Crafting it requires 4 stone bricks on the side, 1 player head, 1 diamond, and 1 bottle of honey, which you can craft using 4 glass bottles and a block of honey itself to create 4 blocks of honey. But I can't imagine you would want to create 4 fountains, as the idea of getting 4 instant deaths and withers isn't good. The Grimoire is a legendary enchanted book, forged by a vengeful demon. The Grimoire has a number of different enchantments attached to it once you create it, which requires a crafting of 3 bottles of enchanting, a trident, 2 pieces of magma cream, a book and quill in the center, a bow in the bottom, and a diamond sword to the left. And as you can see, the grimoire is a perfect example of trading a bunch of different weapons and materials to get a legendary book with a lot of different enchantments. Finally, you can craft 2 NPCs to help you in your Hoplite adventures. The first is Gerald the Sniffer, a legendary tracker who can locate legendary artifacts for you. When you craft and summon Gerald through his spawn, he will be able to hunt out and find a random legendary weapon for you to select. Crafting requires 4 diamonds, 4 mossy cobblestone, and 1 music disc of any choice in the middle. However, it should be noted that you have no control over the legendary weapon that he manages to find for you. So if you do end up crafting good old Timothy here, that's not his name, let me redo it. So if you do end up crafting our good friend here, make sure it's for good benefit. The legendary weapon you get is random, and it could be also an item, such as a fountain. The last legendary item introduced in Minecraft Hoplite is Tim the Enchanter. Crafting and summoning Tim the Enchanter allows you to give any item to Tim that's enchantable in order to apply a random level 30 enchantment. Much like the previous NPC, you have no choice or option over what the enchantment is. Crafting him requires the items below, being glow berries, a glow zinc axe, glow ink sack, an enchantment table, 3 bookshelves, and 3 bottles of enchanting. And bottles of enchanting require 1 glass bottle and 4 blocks of lapis, as we talked about earlier. And so, now that Season 2 of Hoplite has arrived, now you're ready to hop into your own match. If you need to look at any of the other tutorials, they'll be linked below in the description, which, as I said at the beginning of the video, will introduce you to the bare basics of Hoplite, such as navigating the UI, getting around the lobby, playing your first game, and what to actually do during your first game itself. While there are a bunch of different nuances in Minecraft Hoplite, the tutorial series here has taught you the basics, in order for you to be able to hop into your own match and learn and play yourself. If you found this tutorial series helpful, consider subscribing and liking this video. It helps me, and I would love to create future tutorials for different kinds of games or game modes in Minecraft if there's an interest for them. This was a pretty fun series to film, and not to mention, I hope it was helpful for all of you as well. So, now that you know the basics, go ahead and hop into your first game of Hoplite. Should you ever need these tutorials, they'll always be here for you. But until then, good luck and happy hunting.